Good evening for everyone. My name is Amanda and today we are going to talk about prepositions. So, what is preposition and what is used for? Preposition is a word class used to connect or link some ideas, some words. Let's see one example. Example, I live in Brazil. Here I have two informations. The first information is that I live in a place. And the second information is where is this place. So, Brazil. I live Brazil. To connect these two ideas and make a sentence, okay, a complete sentence, I have to use the preposition in. I live in Brazil. Yeah? Let's see some classification of prepositions. So, classification can be classified in preposition of time, preposition of place, preposition of direction, and preposition of position. So, the first example in the classification is I wake up at 7 o'clock. The first information is that I wake up. And the second information is the time that I am waking up. 7 o'clock, yeah? I wake up at 7 o'clock. So I have to use the preposition at to connect these two ideas, yeah? Preposition of place. I study at USP. I have two informations again. The first one is that I study. And the second is the place, USP. So I study at USP. Perfect. Direction, on the right. Can be also on the left, another direction, yeah? And I have a position, in front of. This object is in front of me. Look, in front of me, okay? You are in front of me. And here we can see some problems because there is no translation to talk about preposition in Portuguese. So prepositions, there is no translation in Portuguese because there is no specific translation, yeah? You can see the same word at in two different contexts. So let's see again. I wake up at 7 o'clock. One context. Here we are talking about time. Yeah? Brazilian speakers say às. Eu acordo às 7 horas. Às is the preposition here in Brazil to talk, to teach Brazilian speakers. And the second, yeah? I study at USP. Eu estudo na USP. The second, we have the same word and in a very different situation. I study at USP. Na, here in Brazil. So we have different words for each kind of situation in English and in Portuguese. And we have different ways to classify these words in English and in Portuguese too. So there is no translation, literally translation.
Now that we've taken a look at the general aspects of prepositions, let's talk a little bit about prepositional phrases. A prepositional phrase is a modifying phrase added to a sentence consisting of a preposition and its object and used to give a sentence more detail. The form is that it always starts with a preposition, it ends with a noun or a noun phrase, it cannot stand alone, and admits a specifier like right or straight, or a word that makes time or degree more specific or limited. The function is that it can work as adjectives or as adverbs. One example is the quote of the main song from the famous movie The Sound of Music.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Here we have two different types of prepositional phrase. The main sentence is, the hills are alive. Then, to modify it, we can ask how or why. The answer shows our first prepositional phrase, with the sound of music, which acts like an adverb of one, manner, because it indicates the manner in which the hills are alive, and two, it can be considered an adverb of cause because it indicates what makes the hills alive. To specify which sound, we add our second prepositional phrase, of music, which acts as an adjective because it qualifies sound. Therefore, we conclude that with the sound of music is modifying the main sentence, the hills are alive. And the same way, of music is modifying sound. To know which type of prepositional phrase, you can try to change the place of the phrase. Adverbial prepositional phrases can be placed anywhere in the sentence, while adjective prepositional phrase can only follow the subject which it is qualifying. Now, what are problems that we can face when adding prepositional phrases to our sentences? We can create ambiguous sentences. Sometimes newspaper headlines aren't clear enough, and you're left wondering what exactly they mean. Let's take a look at this newspaper headline.
San Jose cops kill man with knife.
Did the cops use a knife to kill a man? Did the cops kill a man who was carrying a knife? You can't know without some context. Now, we're going to see what other approaches we can use to interpret prepositions beside our main book, Brenton and Brenton.
Hi guys! So, now that we have looked into prepositions and prepositional phrases, let's take a look into the teaching aspects of prepositions. First, why teaching prepositions is an issue? Well, prepositions are often vague and confusing even for native speakers. Besides, each language has its own set of rules. Therefore, clashing points between English and the learner's first language will appear, because grammatically, prepositions do not behave in the same way for all languages. We also have perceived inconsistency in English itself, as in I can meet you in but not on the house, while I can meet you on the corner but not in the corner. Besides, textbooks usually are not a great help, right? So how do we normally teach prepositions? We ask students to memorize them. As simple as that. So while researching for this project, I find a paper written by Patricia Bonquest, in which she presents an alternative way of teaching prepositions. Her way passes by cognitive linguistics theory. This theory, among many other things, states that different languages emphasize spatial scenes differently. In other words, each culture will take a certain traditional view of the image. So the emphasis by a culture and therefore by the language of that culture determines which preposition to use and how to use it. If two languages view a scene from different angles, they will use different prepositions. Linguistic cognitives believe that each preposition can be visually expressed or represented by a spatial image. Bonquist goes further and develops a set of images and some gifs to visually express the core meaning of several prepositions. The idea being that it's much easier to show the preposition than to verbally explain it. Here is an example made by me of the preposition in. But here we have two images that the author created for the preposition in. The first one referring to space. The second one referring to time. The second image is supposed to be a GIF, so it moves. So the first image is that we see, and in the next one, the classroom will be empty, and the clock will have moved by 5 minutes. So the idea is that as the students watch the short clip, they can see the concept of the temporal in. And with the help of the first picture, it's quite easy to explain. So we can say, imagine that our box is the time span of 5 minutes. Since we said in 5 minutes, we must stay inside our temporal box before we are able to get out. This is just a simple example of her ideas. If you got interested, please check her paper out. It has some really great ideas, for us to teach. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As if you had a choice, right? Bye.